you are going to get to see an inside look at the Scrappin with Sheri studio, and my son-in-law likes to call it where the magic happens. So this is my desk that I sit at most of the time when I'm scrapbooking. This is a Husky workbench desk, and it rolls up and down so I can stand or I can sit. And I really like this because it's got a big open space, lots of room to use. I do have a mat that I put on there, and then I also put my Creative Memories 13-inch mats that are taped together on top of that so I can level things side to side. I have a few tools that I keep on my desk all the time. One is my little picture trimmer. One is my 12-inch trimmer. I've got a little stand with my scissors and some pens and things in it, and then my little tray with some extra pens, some things here. But I'll show you those more in depth as the weeks go on. The reason I love this place is because I've got the things I use most at my fingertips. So on this side of my desk, I have my idea books. I have some pre-made pages. I have some washi tape, but mainly ideas on that side. You can see my little portrait machine, my silhouette portrait. I use it to cut titles, so it and my computer are right here close. I can just flip around and do that. This side is where all the work really happens. This is one of our pods, and I have all of my cutting system pieces in there. My smallest cutting system pieces are in one of the smaller memory made cases, but I'm able to keep all of my large cutting system pieces in this pod, and I can just grab that handle and pull it out. These are just office supplies. Down here I have my Border Maker cartridges, and these are the newest ones that I'm using most frequently. I've got a couple of cases of those, but I like having those handy. You'll see all the others in a minute. And when I clean off this desk, my trimmers will actually slide right here in these little cubbies so I can get them off my desk if I need to. This holds ABC stickers. And the best thing that I've got right here is for all of my scraps. This is a rolling cart. It's got wheels, and I keep all of my scraps in little folders inside one of the Creative Memories storage cases. But I can pull that out as I need to, and it's got a lid on it. I can't get the lid out, but when I travel I can put this lid on it and set things on top of here so I don't mess up my papers. I really like that. I just got this for Christmas from my daughter and her family, so if you're interested in that, I can link to that on Amazon. This is where I keep my papers I'm currently working with, and people say all the time, well, I've got way too much paper. My thing is, I only want paper in these 3 areas, so when I get too much paper, I start using it really quickly to get rid of it. I've got 2 pods right now. This one is organized according to categories. This one is according to colors. And then this is a 31 bag. Works almost the same except it doesn't have the handle. This one is organized according to collections. And I'll be going more in depth on those in another video as well. Right here, as you walk into my office, I've got this little station where I keep my Happy Album planner, and I like having it right here because at night when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I can write down whatever we've done that day. It keeps me very mindful of my Happy Album and keeping that up to date. So come over here in the corner because this is where a lot of stuff goes on. When you see me doing videos, this is where I'm standing. I do all my videos standing. I've got an extra light here, and this is where my phone is attached to use the camera. I usually have Post-it notes here of things I need to remember to say. So if you see my face and you see me looking up a lot, it's because I'm looking at Post-it notes. I've got a little caddy here that I keep my tape, my scissors, my mat, foam squares, all those little handy things in. And then I've got another trimmer, a little photo trimmer, a couple of punches, my refills for my tape runner, my anti-stick tool. I've got those things right there so I can grab those handily. And this area right here is for my Faithbook Fridays. I did have to reorganize, and I want you to understand that organization doesn't just mean one and done. You have to reorganize based on what you're doing, what your projects are. So this is the area for my Faithbook Friday things right now. This area is for cards, card making, things like that. Here is where, when I do pages on YouTube, I put them in the categories where they belong. Like this is my current family album that I'm working on, and as I do those pages, I just slide them in here. The album is in there with it, so every so often I pull this out and I put the pages where they belong in the album. This one is Christmas because I've been doing a lot of Christmas pages. So I just keep sliding them into this section, and I will have to get those out and put those in order. This is my latest travel album I'm working with, and I really don't have a lot of extras here because it's almost finished. I did get a little toolbox for Christmas. My toolbox drawers open up, and I have a couple of punches and hole punches in those. I also keep my zero centering ruler and a T ruler here. Now, because I am an advisor, I have some things a little bit different than you would have them in your house, because I have all of my cardstock on this bottom shelf. I have them organized according to Roy G. Biv, and I keep them all in here. But this is also how I sell them when I go to events. So I just pull those tubs out and go with them. I kept those on the bottom shelf because I can pull them out and look at them. They're really heavy, and I can just leave it sitting on the floor to pull my cardstock. I have lots of extra specialty colors of cardstock I keep here just for emergencies. And then I also have page protectors that I keep here. I have ABCs, the larger ABCs in this, but those are the older ones Creative Memories used to have, and I find I'm not using them very much. Now come on around here, because this is where the bulk of my tools are. And I bought these racks from Stampin' Storage. I've got the ones for regular border punches, the border maker cartridges, or the border punches and the border maker cartridges. Now remember, most of my border maker cartridges that are new are closer to me, but after I've used the newness out of them, but I still want to keep them, I organize them here. People organize these very differently. Mine are organized according to the way I use them. Like, these are a lot of seasonal things, Christmas and winter particularly, that I wouldn't use as frequently. These are more nature-y kinds of things, and I've just got them organized in a way that works for me. It wouldn't work that way for everybody, but it works for me. The albums that you see here are a very small part of the albums that I actually own. These are actually my youngest son's books that he has not taken to his house yet. And then this area is more businessy stuff. Now, to flip back around, I do have a table that I keep up all the time, and I use this for tutoring. I turn it sideways when I tutor, but when I'm not tutoring, this becomes a project table. I put the current album that I'm trying to catch up on this table. I can put memorabilia with it, and it's a good way for me to lay it out just to see what I've got going on. So that's kind of my studio. This is Scrappin' with Sheri on location. I will be doing some little up close and personal videos with some of my organization plans. I do want you to see right behind my husband, Mr. Scrappin. This is where I keep my printer, my Epson PM400 that I talk about all the time. I've got it attached to my phone, so as I'm sitting here working on my pages, I can just send the video or send the picture to the printer. It prints out sitting right there, and I can reach up from my chair and grab the photos, and I'm ready to go. So that's kind of how it works for me. But look for some more little quick tips that I'll be giving you to show you how to organize specific things. Remember, organization is a very personal thing. I could organize it for you, but it wouldn't work because your brain and mine don't work exactly alike. But that's where we are for now. So stay tuned. We're going to show you a quick idea before this video ends today. I appreciate you taking a walk with me through my studio, but I want to take a few minutes to show you an idea. This is from the January virtual crop that started yesterday, and I'm going to do page number 2 on this strictly because I am on location today. We gathered up our stuff and we came to visit our daughter, and I wanted to wait for the virtual crop sketches to come out to do one of those, and I wanted to use the new Noteworthy Days collection. I have already played with this stuff, and man, it is beautiful. If you love earth tones, you are going to love this collection. We've got the blues, the greens, there's some tealish color in here, the browns. Every picture that you make outdoors is going to be perfect with this because there's all the outside colors. But this sketch is going to be really easy. I'm going to be using several of the different papers from the collection. Just a quick peek at the stickers. The stickers cover every major holiday. I mean, Mother's Day, Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, everything is in here. These would be great to use if you do a happy album calendar or even a big calendar each year. So look into these stickers. They're beautiful. Now, some of these things sold out very quickly, but they are coming back during the month of January. So look for those. There are also stickers that are a lot of sayings, but then you've also got spring, summer, winter, some other things. But these are the see-through stickers. So you'll have to mat them on something or put them on a paper where they really stand out well. So these are the 3 papers that I've pulled for this. We're gonna have a backgrounds page, we're gonna have an inside, and then a stripe down the one side. And I didn't get to print this out, so I'm looking at it on my iPad. But here's what I chose. I decided to make this my inside piece. This is gonna be the 10.5 by 10.5. So all I'll have to do on this is cut off 1.5 inches on one side and then an adjacent side. You know, sometimes I go crazy and I start cutting them off all over the place. That's all I've got to cut off is that 1.5 inches. We've got our backgrounds paper, and I was looking really hard at papers where we've got good contrast, but look at how this is making everything else coordinate so beautifully. So we've got our background paper with good contrast. This is a beautiful sheet, and I actually thought about using the brown initially, but look how different it looks when you put it on this blue, where it really stands out. It really highlights the lighter blues that are in this patterns paper. Then this brown paper, we're going to use to be this stripe right here. It's a 5.5 by 10.5. So again, we're gonna cut off 1.5 inches. And then we're gonna go back over here and do this one at 5.5. Well, let me make sure I've got all my sizing right. 10.5 and then 5.5, which is right to the edge of your trimmer here. And this is going to be good because it's going to actually act as a color buffer up here to give us a little extra color. And then it's also going to provide a matting space for a 5x3 photo at the bottom. So let's go ahead and stick down what we've got. And then we'll see what else we can add to this to finish it up. Now, because I am on location, I did not bring my photo printer. I don't have photos with me, so I don't really know what is going to go on this. So I felt like using several different colors would make it easier to work with whatever color scheme I decide to choose. And I'm going to kind of keep the decorations on it generic so I can use it for a little bit of anything. And we do have all those cute holiday decorations, but I would not definitely put a holiday on this yet because I just don't know when this is going to come up in my album to be used. And we're sliding this kind of over to the side. And that is really the basic sketch. I mean, how easy is that? Now, one thing I'm looking at here is they have also put a 12 by 2 across the middle. And these circles don't necessarily mean you add circles there. It means we need some type of border. So let's look at what we want to use for our 12 by 2 and our border that coordinates with what we've got going on. So for this 12 by 2 through the center, I decided to go with another pattern out of the collection. This one has kind of a teal color on the back, but I like these stripes. I like the fact that it pulls in my browns and my blues. And I just need to make this 2 inches wide. We're gonna keep the full 12-inch length on this. And when I look at the sketch, this is just kind of added on the top of everything else. So that's going to be easy enough to do. I am going to stick this kind of gently to start with because I want to make sure that when I put the placeholders for my photos on there, I actually have enough room for a 5x3 down here. So I'm just going to lay that down, and we are going to go ahead and do our border. Now, with this collection came this border cartridge. It's called Cyclic Circles. And that's the one I decided to use. And I'm gonna be using some hot fudge cardstock with that. I just felt like this would really stand out well against what we've got going on. I'm gonna slide that out of the way a second and do this. Cyclic Circles. Now, one thing you're gonna see is that this is one of the punches that stays attached. This is not one where the punched edge falls off the page. So this would be a really good place to layer this. Glad I didn't stick that down hard. I have not played with this punch yet, but look how pretty we could do that. Add this to the punched border sheet, and then we could trim this off, and we'll have that dark brown hot fudge border on the top and the bottom. And then let's lay this down on our page and see what we think about that. Now, if you are paying attention with me, you're seeing we've got a problem right away. And that problem is we're not able to really see this design on here well because the circles they're just kind of taken away by all that pattern going on. So let me see if I've got any scraps that work. I could add this behind there. That brings in some more of that rusty brown right there. What do you think of that? I don't love that. I'm thinking I would rather have some blue behind it. So I feel like putting this blue behind it is going to be a better option for me. And I really just need a small strip of that. This is the title I intend to use. This is one of the journaling cards out of the pack. So what if I just cut off some of this excess on this journaling title block? Matte, that's what it's called. I could cut off some of that excess, and I might be able to use this to piece behind that border, and I wouldn't have to cut another full-size sheet into pieces. Let's try that out. You know, I've told you before, those matte packs are really great for giving you some extra, yep, that's it. Those matte packs give you some extra bang for your buck because you've got different patterns in there. You've got extra pieces. You can cut them down and make titles. You can use the leftovers behind border strips or for just little tags. There's so much that you can do with those matte packs. Now, in this new collection, the matte packs are a little bit different than they have been in the past. That is, they're a smaller matte pack, and the matte pack this time comes in a resealable Ziploc bag rather than you having to tear it open to get to your mat. And that's something that we as advisors have been begging for forever. So we're really excited about the fact that they have done that. And look, I didn't have to cut up a whole new sheet of paper to get that nice little mat, or that nice little background behind that border. So now we can look at putting this on. I want to make sure I've got enough room for a 3-inch photo, so I'm going to leave myself a little space there. I'm just using my zero centering ruler to test that space because I don't have the pictures. So we'll just make sure that we're leaving enough room. I'm just going to add that right on. Now, I do have my mats out, which I don't always do. So I am going to test my straightness on my mat here, just to make sure I've lined these things up reasonably well. And you do that just by lining your mat up on the lines here, and then you're checking where your border is placed from side to side to make sure it's the same at the top and the same at the bottom on each side. All right. And the last thing, according to the sketch, that I'm really missing is my title block. And I opted to do this off of the mat, but it's still a little bit wide for the space. I want it to fit in this space right here. So I'm gonna cut down just a little bit more, see if I can make it fit. It won't always happen, but we're gonna try. It's still just a little bit big. I'm gonna let it overlap this. But because I don't know what pictures go in there, how it's going to fit, I'm just going to pop this up on foam squares a little bit so that I can slide a picture under the edge of that if I need to. So let me pull my foam squares. So I'm just going to put a couple of foam squares on this, making sure that they don't get onto this brown color over here. And that will give me the ability to slide a photo under the edge of this when I'm actually ready to put my photos on. So we've got that, the memories in the making. When I'm looking at this sketch, the only other thing is to add embellishments maybe here. They've added something else here. I may or may not need anything there. but then they've also added something on the top here. I love all the patterns on this, and I was looking at the stickers to decide if I wanted to add a sticker or not. One that I really liked was Celebrate Days Like This. It pulls in so many of the colors I've got going on. But here's where we have a little bit of an issue. This sticker is one of the see-through stickers. So depending on where I put it, I'm gonna get too much. There's gonna be so much going on that you're not gonna be able to see it well. If I put it here, I'm gonna kind of lose the word these. I can put it on this, but I'm looking at how they've got their photos aligned, and my photos might cover it up. I think I could stick it over there, but I think what I'd like to do is put it on a background, and maybe even another piece of this brown, if I can find a little piece big enough without cutting up a big old sheet. So I'm gonna put that onto the brown. That gives me some good contrast with the wording specifically. And when you rub this down, it actually kind of takes away the whole background of the sticker. So all you see is, it kind of looks like a rub-on. And then I'm gonna cut that down a little bit. We're making this sticker basically into an embellishment by adding it onto a piece of paper. Now that gives us a lot more options as to where we want to put it. I still think it would look really, really pretty there. My problem there is it's fading into where we have that other blue. So let's just pull a little bit of dark blue behind this, and we'll finish that out. Or we could pull a little bit of that brown in and finish it with that. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I'm gonna pull in just a bit of that. Now, because this is only a one-page sketch, how would I carry this over to my second page? This is one of those sketches I would probably just mirror exactly. I'm not gonna take the time to do that for you, but in mirroring it exactly, the only thing you're not gonna have to do, you're not gonna have to do a title on your second page. So I would completely leave the title off, and I would scoot this box to the opposite side of my page. So it would be easy enough to mirror this design and make it a two-page spread. And it's a pretty quick one. So if you haven't seen the Noteworthy Days collection in person, you need to make an opportunity to do that. You need to check with your local advisor, or just order it. I think you'll love it. The stickers, the mats, everything in it is just absolutely beautiful. And I saw a little preview of it earlier, and one thing that I was impressed with is that so many different kinds of pictures matched it. You don't really have to have matchy stuff. These are just colors that you use in your pictures all the time. So that is the virtual crop sketch number 2 for January 2025. You've also seen a little bit of the Scrappin with Sheri studio. And for the next few Saturdays, I'll be showing you some more in-depth organization systems that I use that might work for you. They may not, but we'll be looking at some of those to see what we can do to get you organized in the new year and get you completing pages in 2025. So until I see you next time, happy scrapping.